Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that okay. You can probably see my little meeting
Yeah.
thing here too. Do I want that? I don't know. Okay. So introduction to the apprentice cohort. Coffee Crusher, were you in season 7 or you were in season 6?
I was season 6, but I attended season 7 just because there was a lot of really cool, you know, presentations. So I got to see it from the perspective of like already been through it. So I don't know if I can help, with while you guys are working on this.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, and I thought season. Oh, someone's joining. Hold on. Now I gotta figure this shit out. Okay. Welcome. Okay, so I was getting into the slides. Thank you. Yeah, and Coffee Crusher, that's awesome. I really liked season 6 and 7, it just seems like they're getting better every time. So kind of excited to talk about season 8 that may be starting in January, but we'll get to that in a sec. So, Raid Guild, introduction to the apprentice cohort for Dowcember 2024. Like I said, the first Dowcember, we started at Dow House, and it kind of expanded into this huge event, and we had like the salons and people, fireside kind of chats, a ton of demos, and then last year it was a little more mellow, but still pretty cool. And this year, last year was actually really cool. That was Peeth and Metagame kind of hosted it. This year, Peeth is kind of, was burnt out. We were burnt out on hosting the big events. So we made it a little more open and just like, here's a calendar, throw some stuff on. I think it's still the same kind of thing. We're here to talk about DAOs and think about DAOs over the year, think about the projects and the communities we've been a part of. So now that the Dowcember part's over, Raid Guild. We can talk about Raid Guild. So Dowcember's been around 3 years. Raid Guild has been around for about 5 years now, which is totally crazy to think about. And it's changed a lot, and it's always changing. It's always kind of evolving, which is kind of the point, I think. But at its heart, or maybe like at a top level, it's just a community of folks, developers, product people, professionals that are building things in crypto, Web3, on-chain, however you want to say it. Those people that are in this community also will run a dev shop, a decentralized dev shop. Raid Guild was actually, I think, is accredited maybe with being the first service DAO. So before even people knew what a service DAO was or put a name on it, we started doing this stuff basically. Before anyone was using Discord, we were using Discord. Before anyone, even before that, we were using Slack. So all these things that took off over the years to come, we were doing it first, and a lot of the Raid Guild members, the original Raid Guild members, kind of propagated our mistakes out into the world. And we're still using, we were using Slack for a little bit. And then we tried Telegram for a while, and then I think I accidentally, I don't even want to say it because I named the channel something like Raid Guild, but it wasn't that, and you guys can maybe think of other R words that I might have typed incorrectly by accident. It doesn't matter. Anyways, so Raid Guild's been around for a while. There's always kind of like a change of guards that kind of happens in Raid Guild. You have a lot of the same people hanging out kind of as leaders, but then a new fresh set of people coming in. That's kind of the cohort. A lot of times they'll bring new ideas. They inject a new sense of engagement and just kind of like a fresh little baby with pink skin coming out into the world. But that kind of rebirth is what keeps Raid Guild going. A lot of times, a lot of things stick, and this is another thing with DAOs. It's just like we made up something 5 years ago, and now it's still stuck. But every once in a while, someone will like shake the tree and shake that weirdness out and try something new. And so, as long as we keep doing that, everything keeps evolving. It still feels fresh, and it's still exciting. It's still fun. It's still fun for me to go to, even after all these years. So yeah, Raid Guild members are a big community. Sometimes they have a dev shop, a service DAO. Sometimes they hold events. Sometimes they do cohorts. They kind of do a lot of different things like a community would. They're not just one thing. You can't really just like put one label and say that they're a dev shop, for example. Although that is one of the main things they do. You can go to Raid Guild and hire them for work. So I took this presentation from the last season cohort, and I'm just trying to riff on it a little bit. But anyway, so season 7 just finished, well, about a month ago, and we had a whole, a bunch of new people came in, a really kind of exciting cohort. It was hosted by me and Tay. Tay usually hosts everyone. I don't host a lot of times, but this time I did, and I kind of like it, so I'll probably be a part of January too. We also had, just current and past, or just the current Raid Guild members come in and be mentors and help out. And that's one of the cool things. These people were in past cohorts, and now they're helping out with new cohorts. It's kind of that flywheel. And so the people in Season 7 will probably help a little bit in Season 8 if they're still hanging around. And, yeah. So we had a ton of talks, and we'll probably have a bunch of talks in January as well, but probably a little less. The coordination of getting a bunch of people in a room together every day at the same time is a lot of overhead, and it was a little too much. But we had a ton. We had all these like past, current Raid Guild members. Some very active in the past and less so now. Still came back to do talks, on their new ventures, like Spencer, his adventures through Raid Guild and eventually ending up in hats. We've got, talks about the AI tools that now are all the meta. Lawyers came in and talked to us. We talked about fully on-chain games. We had just a ton of really interesting and educational content. So what's the format of a cohort? We kind of follow the design sprint format. If you've heard of rapid design sprints, then they kind of follow this discovery, diverge, converge, prototype, and test. That's kind of like the steps of rapid prototyping or rapid design sprints. And so we kind of follow that format, but not rapid. It's over a couple weeks. We'll spend 1 week of discovery, and that's actually discovery of each other. We're just trying to introduce ourselves, build a little bit of a relationship, and start kind of kindling the fires that we want to be burning over the next few weeks. Introduce projects we're working on and things that we've worked on in the past, things we're interested in. And the way we do that is through a couple different icebreaker workshops. The initial one is just kind of an intro to Raid Guild, and then everyone saying hello. And I wish I could just let everyone in all at once. Sorry that I don't know how to use Google Meet very well. So yeah, the first week is discovery, introductions, and these icebreaker workshops. One of the icebreaker workshops is this meme-driven development, and that's something that has been around probably for most of the time Raid Guild's been around, and it's just a silly workshop where we're kind of doing all the things backwards for designing a product, starting with a meme and then building something from there. It becomes a lot of fun, and a lot of weird ideas come out of that, and then we have a little mini demo day at the end of like an hour where everyone presents their thing. This is just another way to kind of get people working together and trying some new stuff. And then we get into the next week, which is really Diverge, and I think that meme-driven development kind of thing is a good transition because, now we're actually starting to think about new ideas. Out of Season 7 meme-driven development came an idea that actually ended up being built in the final demo day, which was the cohort viewer. And then there was also the general theme for the cohort, which was the hamsterverse, kind of came out of that. Hamster Fights, I think, was the name of the product in the meme-driven development. And so, we're doing some more educational stuff. We're listening to some more speakers. We're starting to think of ideas of things we could build in the space, ways we could work together. And yeah, we find an identity. Like in season, I don't know if it was 6 or 5, there was a kind of pirate ship theme. The last one was the hamsterverse theme. These themes, they're just kind of mimetic. They're fun. They kind of bring people together, add a little, I don't know, like direction in a way for people, even though they're kind of silly. It solidifies some of these relationships and lets you like point in a direction, even if it's kind of silly. We also did a bunch of kind of ops stuff. So what the cohort is it's actually it's like becoming more and more that it's just a DAO in itself. We're playing with the tools. We're actually being a part of a DAO. We're launching tokens. We're using token-gated content management systems. We're building out this meme community even over a few weeks together. And then we converge. So, that step, we start to, we're finding people that we can work with. We're finding the people with similar skill sets or complementary skill sets. And we start to build some stuff. You're building stuff based on kind of this theme that has emerged, but also based on, things that are interesting to you in the space, something that you want to see happen, something you just really want to explore. Maybe you're researching, maybe you're doing a redesign of a current product. And I think the key point here is that we're playing with the technology and then we're building something together. We're building teams and we're seeing how this weird, internet communities building shit together stuff works. And then we prototype, we're just building. This is the grind section, this is everyone kind of going off, working together, building something that they can eventually show on demo day. One of the things we introduced in this last season is this RIP requirement. And because after the cohort, so to get the expectations of the cohort, you're not necessarily going through the cohort to become a member of Raid Guild, but as like one of the core members. There is a path for that, but really you're becoming a member of Raid Guild as like a larger community. But if you want to go on the path to become a core member, then there's a couple requirements. And one of them is that you complete a RIP. This is a Raid Guild improvement process or proposal. And what we did last season was we just made a list of internal projects and partner projects, and then we had a bounty board basically. And if you completed one of these things, it would check off that box for your RIP requirement. The other requirement to become a member is to go on a raid, and a raid is to work with a team basically in the dev shop side of things and to ship some product for a client. But like I said, the core members, I mean, it's interesting and we have weekly meetings. But I think the idea of Raid Guild as this community of builders is much bigger than just that. So in season 7, there was a lot of cool stuff that was built. Cookie Jar, which was an internal project that's kind of been on and off in active and inactive development, got a nice new kind of reboot and some new momentum with someone coming in and doing a lot of work, Noob Sauce, working with Tough Nell and Rowdy and Ziovesh. Slay the Moloch game is a cool kind of tapper game, crypto tapper game. Really fun graphics, very Raid Guildified, and also some hamsters in there, of course. The hamsterized token dashboard. So because we actually launched a token for this season, and the token was the DAO, we were like, well, it'd be cool to have this kind of home-based token dashboard that showed things about membership and distribution of the token. And so that was started here. And this project is kind of cool because, it's one of those things that you could just continue building more and more stuff around. And so it could be one that kind of goes from season to season with people continuing to build more. Social Media Chronicles. This is an excellent example of a non-technical kind of thing. Well, I hate saying non-technical because social media and communications people and writers are actually very technical, just in a different way. But Social Media Chronicles was a cool kind of marketing strategy for Raid Guild. We had a Yeeter landing page redesign, some smart contracts with this dynamic reward staking, kind of like what is it? Kind of like NFT yield farms. Project Raid Guild was a new design strategy for the Raid Guild webpage. Expensive Message, a cool app. Cohort Viewer, like I was talking about before, and the Hamsterverse, the game, which is a really fun thing. All these are really worth checking out, but I can't spend too much time on them. So Season 8 is coming in January. This time we decided to add a little theme at the start. Not like the Hamsterverse theme that'll bubble up. I'm sure some kind of theme will bubble up in Season 8. But we're chasing the agentic AI stuff, chasing the meta. And but I think there's a lot of interesting stuff here. I'm hoping that we can get a lot of different perspectives on AI being on chain, AI being part of DAOs, things like that, and also kind of demystify the technology. There's so much hype that gets around this stuff that people start, imagining presidents as an AI or a CEO as an AI, and we're not there. We're not even close to that. But there are some amazing, cool use cases, and not just the obvious one of like AI as a DAO member. Like I'm working on a simulator right now that would simulate a DAO. There's other things where it can help inform person as a personal agent. But there's a lot of cool, interesting stuff. If you want to be a part of Season 8, then you got to get in our join form and just get started there. And this. Yeah, let's get excited together. That was another thing that I guess I was saying a lot in Season 7. So, yeah, let's get excited to 7. Let's get excited together for Season 8. And there's a few minutes left. But, I don't know. So, preaching to the choir for this talk mainly. And then I have another slide deck for DAO House that I can do in a couple minutes, but
I have a question.
Yeah, man.
Dekan, how do you think, how would you anticipate or guess that the cohort might be different by having a preset theme, which we've never done before, rather than having it emerge out of the cohort participants?
I don't know. What I'm hoping is that it just kind of maybe kicks off a little momentum in one direction. As we continue doing these, the space is large and it's growing, and there's more and more interesting things to explore. And, when we have just a couple weeks and, less than 50 people together, there's no way we can like explore everything. But if we put on our blinders and focus on one thing, we could explore a lot of one thing. So even the agentic AI is such a huge and vague topic, but maybe just like narrowing in a little bit, and how it works with EVM chains might give us a little more direction. And then, yeah, hopefully there is some other more mimetic stuff that bubbles out of that too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, nice answer. Thanks.
Yeah.
The other thing you might want to consider, so